Everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to represent all the veterans that are in the Army. The ones from the Revolutionary War all the way to Iraq and Afghanistan. But today I'm just going to refer on the World War II veterans. Well, I mean, you veterans in like Iraq and Vietnam and Korean War, all that, I have y'all in my hearts, and I hope y'all live for a very long time. But today I'm just going to refer on World War II, because I'm wearing a World War II helmet and all that. So, everyone knows how World War II started. Hitler invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939. But they didn't take over the capital until, until after Britain and France joined the war. So, Russia was on Germany's side at that time. So, whenever 1940 came, the Germans swept France real quick, using a tactic called Blitzkrieg, lightning war. So, what they did was they would take bombers, tanks, foot soldiers, armored vehicles, all they could, to invade a town. But like in 1940, they invaded Paris, France, and all those other places, Bulgaria, and a bunch of others. But then, 1940, the British and French were backed up on the beach of Dunkirk. And they were running low on supplies and all that, and yachts from like the closest town came and saved them. Like they were just trapped on the beach. But the British wouldn't let the French on their destroyers destroyers, ships, all that, because they had their own, but they just couldn't make it to the harbor. So after that, then it was the Battle of Britain in 1940, whenever the Germans wanted to take over London, or like Britain or something, and that way they could invade New York, because Hitler wanted to invade New York to get the Americans in the war, but they failed. So after that, 1941, the Japanese invaded Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. Almost everyone knows about that because of all the sailors that sacrificed their lives. It was just a surprise attack. So, December 8th, 1941, America joined the war to fight against Japan. But then, December 9th, Germany declared war on the U.S. So, in 1942, there were some major battles like Stalingrad, Midway, Guadalcanal, El Alamein, and a couple others. Then 1943, it was mostly the same battles, but it was a little different. Eastern Front, Stalingrad ended in 1943. Western Front, El Alamein ended in 1943. Guadalcanal ended in 1943, and the Solomon Islands, the U.S. Marines took over the Solomon Islands, I think. Yeah. So then Hitler invaded Russia, which Russia was on, Germany's side. But by this time, Germany was failing, so they just had to take over more land before they were, overrun. So, Russia fought Stalingrad, 1943. Then D-Day, the person that was in, the commander on D-Day for the Americans, Dwight David Eisenhower. He was the Supreme Allied Court. Then this was the British general, Bernard Montgomery. Then Douglas MacArthur was the commander for in the Pacific. So basically, he was the commander of the Pacific Front for the Americans. Ajit Tojo was the general for Japan. And, well, they failed still. Then Erwin Rommel. This was the person that was in command on D-Day, but June 4th was the actual date, but they failed. But, like, it was raining really hard. June 5th was raining really hard for the Allied, like, landing craft and all that. So the paratroopers went in, and he went home to surprise his wife with new shoes. So then, oh, I forgot to mention this. This was the Polish Prime Minister. I forgot his name, but he was the Polish Prime Minister whenever Germany invaded Poland. So D-Day happened. Paratroopers from the 101st, 82nd, and 6th Airborne Division Red Devils. The Red Devils were trying to take out the guns at Merville, the Merville battery guns, if they wanted to get to Sword, Juno, and Gold Beach. But the Americans, on the other hand, the 2nd Ranger Battalion of 225 men stormed the cliffs of Pont du Hoc. But the Germans, the Americans thought that the casements were had the guns in them, but the Germans moved them some other place, but the Rangers destroyed them. So basically, with those guns, it's 155 millimeters, so those could reach all the way to Omaha Beach. So they took them out before they hit Omaha Beach. If they hit Omaha Beach, the men on that beach would be slaughtered. So, on Omaha Beach, it was the 1st Infantry and the 29th Infantry. Men like Colonel Taylor of the 29th or 1st Infantry Division said crazy good words that day, and they're written in the textbooks. Okay, so after that, it was Operation Breakout of Normandy. So basically, it required all of the divisions to break out of Normandy, France, like the hedgerows and all that. But what they met after Operation Breakout of Normandy was a huge German resistance. Tigers, Panthers, the new Panther tanks, more soldiers, like from the Waffen-SS, the Wehrmacht, and some were from the divisions that performed duty in Russia. So after that, it was Operation Market Garden, which required all of the airborne divisions, the British airborne divisions and the two American divisions. The 101st failed, the 82nd succeeded to take Nijmegen Bridge, and the 6th Airborne failed. So basically, if the 82nd Airborne didn't take the bridge of Nijmegen, we wouldn't have made it to Germany, and it would have lasted till like 1946, 47, something like that. So luckily, the 82nd made it across. After that, it was, I'm not really talking about the Eastern Front because that wasn't really conflict it was pretty bad, but I'm mostly talking about the Western Front and the Pacific Front. So, not really the Pacific Front, but still, so sort of. Okay, so then it was Battle of the Bulge. The American 101st Airborne Division, they got held up at the Ardennes Forest. I know I skipped Hurtgen Forest, but it wasn't as big as Battle of the Bulge. So, what happened was the Americans, they got stuck on like the 101st got stuck in the Ardennes, and Patton's 3rd Army sent a couple of tank divisions to go help them. And then the Germans got defeated at Foy. So basically, if the Germans weren't defeated at Foy, the Americans would have had to fall back. So after that, it was the Russians invaded Berlin, the German capital, where Hitler's, Hitler stayed. Then the 101st Airborne took over Hitler's Eagle's Nest. But after that, Hitler committed suicide. Then we dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which ended the war. So, thank you all for watching today's video. I know it's Veterans Day and it's really rainy and all that, but I just wanted to honor all those veterans. So, thank you and bye.